Type 7, clown syndrome. I can call it that because I'm a 7. So sevens steer conversations towards future excitations, side quests, big ideas, chaotic schemes, unhinged theories, and crazy stories. This is where they're going to fixate on something that's like novel, interesting, weird, wild. They might even turn your conversation into its own adventure, and before you know what you're being roped into, and your encounter becomes the next zany yarn that they're spinning. So they're also positive types, so they can focus on topics or visions that feel disconnected from reality, and almost like they're just trying to get themselves high through verbal theatrics, which will either sweep you up into the delirium with them or leave you feeling confused and flattened. So I think sometimes like 7, especially like 7-9, 7-4, they can, and 7-2 can seem like kind of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because they'll just start like talking about like, I don't like aliens and like, well, I guess that's not one to use now because now everybody thinks aliens are, anyways, I'm not going to go there. But like sevens can get very like into like crazy theories and they're just like ideating, like just talking about theories. And like sixes, for example, people with 6 in their type can be like concerned, like it's like, oh my god, what are they talking about? Sevens are also like self positive, so they can be framing themselves as some kind of like larger than life kind of person, and they're having fun with it. It's not like a 3 thing or where they're trying to like brag or impress you. They're just kind of like amused by themselves, and it's more of like a kind of like a mental masturbation thing. Um, so they make great cheerleaders, though, and love to big up the people around them and bring them up in the clouds of delusion and glittering Cheetos with them. So, yeah, they can make a lot of plans and then forget about it like 2 days later, where you're like, we should go do this crazy, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah. And then, like, you contact them a few days later about it, and they're like, what? Or I don't know, I don't feel like doing it anymore. Where if you do that to a 9 might be more likely to be like just ghost you, but a 7 will just be like, oh, I don't know, I don't feel like it anymore. Because they're frustration types. So yeah, if it suddenly just doesn't interest them anymore, they're just not going to do it. And unfortunately, this is, yeah, talking with a 7 can be exhausting, I think, for a lot of people. Um, where it's just like they're just caught up in fantasies a lot and caught up in like what could work, like what could happen, like innovations, visions, ideas, and it can just almost be like too much for some people's nervous systems, especially 9s. They can get overwhelmed by 7s, but they also like it, you know. So the subtext of these conversations is this is boring. If it's not entertaining and possibilities orientated, I'm not paying attention. So when I'm forced to sit in boredom, heaviness, or limitation, I teeter close to the edge of complete insanity, and in the black, hungry abyss, I will die. So let's juggle balls, baby. Cue circus music. So that's kind of like how it feels. I think like people, anybody with 7 in their tri type, um, can feel this way, but it can be like, oh my God, why are we talking about this? Who fucking cares? Like, let's talk about something interesting and exciting and invigorating. Let's like get jacked up. Like, let's make ourselves fucking high, you know? Let's talk about weird spiritual ideas. Let's talk about like what's going on like in space, or space is fake. I personally think space is fake. Let's talk about, you know, like entities. Let's talk about art, but like weird art, like art that's like, I don't know, but it can get very manic. And insane hanging out with 7s, just like bam, 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 bam. Um, like they're mental types too, right? They're head types. So there's also this element of like escaping fear through the head center, where it's like if I just keep focusing on the tasty treats, then I don't have to acknowledge that I'm actually terrified and the time is running out, and I hate my life and scared. I'm scared. So how they hijack the conversations is they actively throw sparks, possibilities, inappropriate jokes, detours, plans, or provocations into the conversations. when they find the interaction dull, or you've excited them with some kind of idea and they can't resist becoming like a verbal Sonic the Hedgehog, they just want to start bouncing it off the wall. They're like ideating, they're into it, they're in a flow. They might abandon it like in 20 minutes, but they just want to experience it, they want to explore it. And often their unpredictability leads conversations way off course until you have no idea what's going on anymore, where you even started. This is so off topic. And if they're particularly energetic seven, it can also feel like you're being waterboarded into submission by the sheer magnitude of like, well, their enthusiasm, but also how much they can just talk and continue to talk and generate new things to talk about, like at a machine gun speed. So if you're hanging out with a seven who isn't talking much, you've either bored them to tears, they're really, really, really fucking hungover or tired.